Welcome to The Right Question. I'm Daphne Gray Grant, and my question today is how writers can get more from their reading. I have a question from Leila Jakovic, a writer from Menlo Park, California. Here's what she's asked.
How do I best read as a writer? And related to that, what do I read as a writer? I have a notebook where I write down interesting sentences, words, metaphors that I find as I read. I would love to know what other practices I might adopt to improve my writing skills through reading, and what reading filters I might apply beyond pure enjoyment and learning something new that will strengthen my writing. I'm also very curious about your all-time favorite books, texts, or authors that have influenced you in some meaningful way.
Thanks for your question, Leila. When people approach me asking how they can become better writers, I usually suggest that they read more. They often look at me in amazement, like, what? It's that easy? But there's nothing particularly easy about reading for writing. It's not something you do for relaxation or entertainment, although of course you might discover some tremendous books from your casual reading. But once you've decided you want to learn from a particular book, then you need to approach it as if you were going to write an exam on it. When I read a Joan Didion book, I think it was The Year of Magical Thinking or Blue Nights, I remember her describing how her late husband, the writer John Gregory Dunn, had found a book he particularly enjoyed. I believe it was Sophie's Choice by William Styron. She described how he read it again and again and again, pacing by the poolside of their California home as he worked to understand and absorb William Styron's writing techniques. Reading a book more than once and looking specifically for the writerly choices are both important techniques that any writer needs to use when reading. I like the way you're keeping a list of the interesting words, sentences, and metaphors while you're reading. That's really smart. Keep doing it. Here's another trick you might want to try. I like to copy the work of writers I admire. By this I mean typing it out word for word. I've copied books. Spunk and Bite by Art Plotnick, link below, was a favorite of mine. I also copy magazine and newspaper articles, especially the New York Times and the New Yorker. I copy by typing because my own handwriting is so hard to read, but if you prefer to copy by hand, that's fine as well. I suggest spending a relatively small amount of time on the project, no more than 5 minutes a day, but do it daily. And here's the important part. The bit that makes the copying advice extra worthwhile. After you've finished copying a piece, or a chapter, or some unit of the material, then take the time to read it carefully, looking for the writerly lessons you can learn. You may be surprised to see all the new learnings that will occur to you after you've taken the time to copy the piece. I've written a blog post on the art of becoming a copycat, and I include that link below. In terms of my own reading, I have a particular affection for memoir. One I've enjoyed a lot recently is the book Educated by Tara Westover. In addition to having a fascinating life story, she's also a remarkable writer. I read both fiction and non, but as a non-fiction writer myself, I pay particular attention to those writers who are most likely able to help me. One who has a lot to teach me is Charles Duhigg, author of one of my all-time favorite books, The Power of Habit. What I like about his writing is the way he's able to incorporate detailed storytelling into his work, which might otherwise be dry scientific reporting. I'm afraid I can't give you a list of great authors you should read because such lists are necessarily quirky and individual. Reading is about taste, and everyone's taste is unique. Trust your own judgment and then emulate the writers you admire. Finally, let me wrap up with a quote from the great American abolitionist Frederick Douglass, who himself escaped from slavery. Once you learn to read, you will be forever free. Thanks for the question, Leila. I know Douglass was speaking specifically about literacy as it relates to slavery, but I think his words resonate for all of us. Reading allows us to travel widely and freely. It's an incredible gift, and I'm very glad you're able to use it to inspire your own writing.